All right, how's everyone doing? I am Rich CELENZA. Thanks for checking out the Rich CELENZA show. So what I'm going to call this is the momentum effect. And a lot of times when we think of momentum, we think about it, I think for the most part, kind of going positive. Or, you start building up that momentum and you get things going, and then before you know it, it kind of snowballs. More on the positive side of things. A lot of times when we think, let's build that momentum, let's get going. I don't care if that's regarding your health, it could be business related, work. I don't care what age you are. I think you kind of know what I'm talking about when I say, let's build up that momentum. But what I'm going to talk about is kind of the negative momentum. Because I see this happening a lot because it used to happen with me. It seems like either I was on a positive momentum track and things were going forward, but then also when things started going wrong, I also kind of saw how that would start going the other way and how that built momentum. And that's not easy to break a lot of times. And I don't know how this happens, and I don't know if it's negativity or we just get aggravated, but a lot of times when something kind of goes wrong, and I've seen this with me amongst tons of others, I'm not saying we want more things to go wrong, but we're kind of expecting them to keep going wrong. It's almost for us, it's like we have a setback, and a lot of us, instead of saying, all right, let's end that here, let's kind of get back to the positive forward motion here, we'll be pissed off, and we'll take something bad, then we'll make something even worse, and then worse, and almost become like we're self-sabotaging ourselves. And it almost becomes an identity of misery, too. And it sounds crazy, but I do believe this. And I think a lot of us, we can't control ourselves at times because we want it to almost go bad or go worse. I don't know why, but here's the thing, what I'm going to talk about with this is don't let yourself fall into that trap. Because I can assure you it's most likely going to happen in your life. And it's not only about things happening, it's kind of about the way you behave towards certain things. I see it a lot with relationships too, even through divorce. A lot of times you're like, all right, so that, you see people sometimes get a divorce and it just kind of falls apart on them. That's understandable. Or just a breakup in general. So you're just like, 1 minute you may know these people and then they break up, and then before you know it, they're getting thrown out of their apartment or something. Before you know it, you just kind of look at them and then they may get their car repoed and they may lose their job, or they may get into a worse relationship or whatever. You kind of just see things kind of just going the wrong way. And I think that also can happen with any of us. And again, it's sometimes, I'm always talking about self-awareness. And, one of the things I really wouldn't pay attention to when I was younger was sometimes negativity too, or just not being self-aware enough, or like things going bad kind of made you look like kind of a badass. So even if you were, say, getting arrested, or you're speeding, you're getting tickets, or you're getting in altercations and fights and all these stupid things, again, the momentum is swinging. If you want it to swing that way, that's fine. But a lot of times we should know better to say, you know what, this shit just ain't working out. I talk a lot about people like thinking they're one way or thinking they're badasses or something, and they either keep getting busted by the police or they keep getting their ass kicked, or shit just doesn't work out for them. I don't care if they're a cheater all the time, whatever. They're just always surrounded by chaos. I'm like, this just may not be for you. Like a lot of people, I just think they don't realize that just by maybe swinging it again, and again, I'm not telling you have to go become a religious freak or become something, where to get some more positive energy going the other way, be so different than you were in the past. But I do think you'd be shocked if you start learning how to build some momentum on a positive type thing. That doesn't mean, again, I'm telling you to run out and read The Secret, that you got to learn about all, the law of attraction, and that's all these things, or become a religious freak, hypothetically, for things to like kind of go your way. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is really paying attention on the levels of where your life is kind of heading. Because back to momentum, I think a lot of people are going forward. I think some are going back. Some are even going sideways. And I find myself kind of a sideways guy a lot of times, where I kind of have ups and downs, right? Because I take a lot of risks, even financially, or trying different things or experimenting, spending money on certain things. And some may look at it and say you write a book and it doesn't get all the praise that you thought it was. Then all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's all negative and it didn't work out. I wasted all my time and years and money doing this and marketing. That's kind of going the wrong way again. If you look at really the grand scheme of things, you wrote a book which is kind of amazing in itself. It may not get a lot of exposure right now, but it may get some in the future. But again, it's kind of how you look at a lot of different things. What type of momentum are you building? Are you swinging? If you create a business, I'm just going to use for example, and say you want to make $100,000, but you did create a business, and say you lost money. I don't know. You can take that and definitely start building momentum negativity. Just being like, oh my God, I lost money. It's going under. I'm stupid. This is the wrong product. Or you may fight through it, man, and just say, listen, how do I take this and learn from it and try to get this thing going in a positive direction? Because a lot of things you're going to do, I talk about, you're going to fail at. But if you fail, right, fail forward though, I talk about. You have to keep moving forward, getting that momentum to build the other way. And it is not easy. It is not easy to build momentum, I'm telling you, always forward. And it's not going to always be forward. You're going to have setbacks. I talk about it all the time. I don't care if it's financially, your health, relationships. I don't care if it's with your kids, your parents, family members, friends, all these things. And it's not always going to be going in a forward direction. But the thing is, when it does go negative, we don't keep going negative, I think. And that's where the backbreaker is. Because, and you see, I don't care if you watch, a lot of specials on Dateline, those type of shows. Or any of these, shows where a lot of things get out of hand, where people even end up murdered or they end up in jail and all these things where you're like, why would they do this? Why did they keep doing this? Why didn't they just stop right there and say, hey, why would I stay in this relationship and keep being miserable? Or why do I keep stealing money and it putting me in this position where I know I could get caught? Or why am I doing, you look at the people and go, why? But maybe it's time you look at yourself and say, why do I keep making these decisions where it's going backwards? A lot of things that I'm doing are not helping or beneficial. They're actually, I'm not saying destroying you, maybe holding you back, or just, again, stressing yourself out. And I talk about this too a lot of times, especially with expenses. People think a lot of times them buying a lot of expensive things or spending a lot of money in different areas is going to make them happy. But a lot of times it just destroys them. Again, you think you're moving forward now, so I'm going to buy a bigger home than the one I have that I could barely afford now, or that is kind of stressing me out. But I'm going to go bigger, and that's going to make me look better. That's going to make me then feel better. Now you're struggling to keep that alive. So it's kind of, you think you're going forward, when in reality you're kind of going backwards. So that's something too I think that people need to pay attention to is, and I'm not telling you not to go out and buy whatever the hell you want to buy. Don't ever think I'm telling you what to do in your life. But these are just things where, a lot of things that we do, we don't realize the type of momentum that we're kind of either building or destroying, I think. And I could definitely relate to this, especially when I was younger, when I was getting in trouble. It seemed like one thing would happen and then I would do something else that would get in more trouble, and then my friends would get in trouble. We were all just, I'm like, what the hell are we doing this? Is it worth it? Is the momentum shifting negative really worth it? It's sometimes just as easy to go forward than it is backwards. I kept saying going backwards was harder. If you are getting arrested, you got to deal with lawyers and money and all aggravation and being, I'm just using that for an example, but you're on probation, all this shit, when it was just easier to kind of not do all this stupid shit. Why am I getting in trouble here? Oh, maybe I'm drinking too much. Maybe I'm hanging with the wrong crowd. What am I doing? And what's the payoff where, how about I just chill out and start making some better decisions, or instead of, going out and drinking and driving or doing drugs or whatever. And again, I'm not telling anybody what they have to do. Maybe just saying, if I'm going to do some drugs, I stay home and do them. I'm just saying, or if I'm going to drink, somebody else is going to drive, or I'm going to take a cab, or whatever the case may be. Why would I kind of put myself in jeopardy again of going towards the negative momentum, is what I should say. So really pay attention to these things. And I'm going to wrap it up there. Hopefully you got something out of that, but I'm telling you to go in a positive direction. A lot of times you're just building momentum. I think, I will wrap it up with this. I think what people think they have to make when they want momentum to go forward, they want these huge strides. It could even be physically. They want to lose weight. They want to lose 50 pounds in 2 months. It doesn't have to be that way. You could just start small and start building momentum that way. It's, lose a pound a week. I talk about it. I don't care if you want to start your own business. That doesn't mean you have to open it in 30 days, or you have to go bonkers to, again, you think you're going forward again, like I'll just use losing weight. Before you know it, a lot of people put their health in a bigger risk trying to lose too much weight too quickly, and they shock their body. And it could be even trying to gain weight, like getting on steroids, or, now instead of, again, moving forward and saying, hey, I want to get in better shape, I want to build bigger muscles, they try to take a shortcut, or they're doing something illegal, or they're, destroying their body. And that could be financial. That could be anything. Just really pay attention at it. It may take time, but try to keep building that momentum forward. And of course, you're going to have some that go back or some sideways. Just start off small, man. Small little steps, and before you know it, you will be on your way. At least that's how I look at it. All right, take care, and I wish you nothing but the best.